Hello, this is Christian Wasinger, and I am so excited for this first Google Hangout that is based on my book right here, 10 Ways to Reboot Your Mind for Success. Now, I know that there are some of you that are here that are just here to watch and to listen in, and perhaps some of you may want to participate. We do have the opportunity that you can put in some of your questions if you feel like it, and if you don't feel like it, that's absolutely fine too. I hope we do get a lot of your questions answered today, and I just want to go ahead and get started because I'm excited to share the information with you that I am so passionate about, that I have been writing about in this book, that I'm about to go out and teach, and hopefully you go and take that information and you work it and make it work for you so that you can have your best life possible. So let me go ahead and start and tell you a little bit about the book and how it came about. The book came about simply by the clients that have been working with me asking me to write down the things that I tell them. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, and I'm also a trainer of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. What I do is I work with individuals one-on-one, helping them overcome certain challenges. Now, there are the obvious ones for hypnotherapists, like help somebody quit smoking, for example. But I also work with people that may want to overcome certain phobias or fears, or maybe that just feel stuck in their lives. So I help those people get unstuck, for lack of better words. And I do give them a lot of wisdom, information, and thoughts that I feel work really well for me and have worked well for me, that I have learned throughout my life, but also that I have been taught, and tools and principles that I share in sessions and apply with clients. They usually have really, really fast results. Not only are those great results, they're really, really fast. So let's talk a little bit about where do the concepts in the book come from. Most of my ideas and concepts from the book really come from NLP, which stands for let's back up, do that again, which stands for neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro-linguistic program is the study of the subconscious, or the study of the subjective experience, I should say, not the study of the subconscious. So let me back up. I know this is live, so mistakes are going to happen. So NLP is the study of the subjective experience. What does that mean? It basically means NLP is about how we take in information through our senses, through all five senses: our ears, our eyes, our seeing, obviously with your eyes, our taste, our smell, what I forget, and our feelings. So we take in information, we process that information, and based on how we process that information, we actually create internal representation. We give meaning to what we're taking in, and based on the meaning that we give that information, we respond and we behave. And we have all different ways of how we give meaning to that information. So NLP is the study of that subjective experience, what we do with information, how we give it a meaning, and how we process it, how we process the information, how we behave. I was just thinking, those lights are really, really warm. I was going to have good lighting here. I had no idea how warm they would be. Woo. So the book, well, let's define what is success. What is success? Success is something that can be very individual from person to person. So you really want to figure out, what does that mean for you? What does success mean for you? Does it mean to have a certain amount of money? Does it mean to have a certain amount of freedom? If it is having money, what will that money do for you? Money is always a means to an end. Money may give you freedom. Money may give you the ability to travel. Money may give you a beautiful place to live, whatever that may mean to you. So the book is not necessarily focused on one definition of success. It's not about how to make the most amount of money. It is about success, and you need to define for yourself what that really means, that success. Everything that I talk about and everything that I do in trainings really has to do with the subconscious mind. And I want you to understand a little bit more of how our subconscious mind works and how it operates and how it functions. Obviously, we have a conscious mind and we have a subconscious mind. You probably are very aware of that. Now, they do have very, very different functions, and a lot of people may not be aware of what the functions actually are. So let's look at the conscious mind right on here on this side. The conscious mind is here to reason, to judge, to criticize, to analyze. It has a very critical analytical part to it, and we call it, it has a critical faculty. So subconscious mind is here to reason, to judge, to criticize, to analyze, to accept, and to reject. And we're not really born with a conscious mind. The conscious mind is something that we develop, and it's fully developed at around the age of 7. We are, however, born with a subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is in charge of our bodily functions. So if you think we don't have to really think about breathing, we don't have to think about digesting food, we don't have to think about our blood flowing through our arteries, our heart pumping. All of that is already regulated on the subconscious level. The subconscious mind is also like a big memory bank. Everything that we ever experienced is stored in our subconscious. It's just like a big data system. The subconscious mind works very different, though, from the conscious mind. The conscious mind is very critical and analytical in nature. The subconscious mind isn't. The subconscious mind does not have a critical analytical function. The subconscious mind takes language literal, number one. The subconscious mind does not know a negative. So when I say to yourself, don't think of a cookie, what's the first thought you have? Of course it was a cookie. The subconscious mind doesn't know a negative. The subconscious mind takes feelings as a fact. And last but not least, and the most interesting part here is, the subconscious mind does not know the difference between reality and imagination. Think about that. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between reality and imagination. So I want you to think, for example, you're going to a movie. You see a very sad movie and you may start to cry. Well, consciously, you know you don't need to cry. But at that moment, your subconscious mind is taking over. The conscious mind, or the critical faculty of the subconscious mind, is being bypassed, and then the information, the movie, whatever is, moves into the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind doesn't criticize it or analyze it because it doesn't have a critical faculty or function. And since the subconscious mind does not know the difference between reality and imagination, it believes everything to be real, and then it behaves and responds in a way as if it were real. So that is what the subconscious mind does. And I know I am getting very, very warm in those lights. I apologize for that. That feels good. It's perhaps a good time to see if I have some questions at this moment. Now, I am completely new to Google Hangout, so just bear with me. No questions right now. Wonderful. So let's move on then. Now, why are some of those things important to you? We'll get to that a little bit more in detail when we get to the language part. What I'd like to talk very briefly is that we all have a story. We all have a story that we buy into, that we are getting stuck in. And it is that story that is keeping us back from wherever we want to be, from whatever we perceive success is for us. If we are not there yet, or if we're not on our way where we want to be, if we feel those stumbling blocks constantly showing up in our lives or being in our way, it is because of our story. The story that we have made up and the way we feel about that story. Now, I'm not belittling anything that has happened to anyone in the past. We all have a past. We all have had things that happened to us that may not have been the best experiences for us, but we can't change them. We have no power over changing those past experiences. However, we do have control over what we make up about the stories now. We have absolute power and control, and we can change those things. So when I work with someone one-on-one, for example, one of the things that I do is I will challenge a person's reality. We all have beliefs, and it is our beliefs that hold us back. It may be a belief that we are too young, that we are too old, that we are not the right sex, that we are not educated enough, that we are not this, and we are not that, whatever it is that we are buying into. And what I do is when I work with people, I challenge their thinking. Because for every thought that we have, for everything that we believe to be real and to be true, it means that the opposite could also be true. It just simply means because one thing exists, it automatically presupposes that the opposite of that also exists. It's just that for most of us, it is not in our realm. We don't even believe that could be a valid possibility, that we could be smart enough, that we could be the right age or whatever it might be. So I like challenging people's realities, especially the realities that hold them back from achieving what it is that they want to achieve. So just ask yourself the question right now, what are the things that you believe about yourselves to be true? And are those beliefs positive and beneficial to you, or are they holding you back? The good thing about thoughts is they're just thoughts. And thoughts we can change, and Louise Hay always says that, and said and says that still. It is just a thought, and the thought can be changed. And thoughts have absolutely no power over us. The only thing that has power over us is when we believe those thoughts to be true, when we believe those thoughts to be real. That is a choice. We're choosing to believe certain thoughts, but we don't have to. So think about your story, and what is your story? Where are you stuck in life because of your story? How about creating a new story? A story that will benefit you much more. You made the story up in first place. No matter what happened in your life, no matter what the experience was, you yourself, we give it a meaning. No one else gives it a meaning for us. We give it a meaning all on our own. We give it a meaning based on our beliefs, our values. We make some story up about it. So that means if that story is really not helping us, we can absolutely change that story. So, for example, if I think about some of the experiences that I had growing up, my dad would quite often talk not in the most positive ways about his children, and I could now say, well, he said we were useless or we were dumb or whatever it might be. Now I can either believe for that to be true, or I can choose to say, you know what? That was his reality, and that is what he believed. But just because he believed that, that does not mean that that is really true. Perhaps he felt insecure about himself for whatever reason, and perhaps having someone else feel bad about themselves or putting someone else down makes them feel better about themselves. It happens all the time. Just think about bullies. A lot of times, why do bullies really bully people? A lot of time it's just their own insecurities because they need to feel better about themselves. Ultimately, we all want to know that we're loved and that we do matter. So I choose to believe that I'm not dumb. I'm not stupid. You know, if somebody calls me dumb or stupid, you know what? That is their opinion of me. And just as Terry Cole Whitaker says so nicely, what you think of me is none of my business or none of my opinion. I don't know which way it is, but you know, that's their perception of you. So I'd like to move on to um, talking a little bit more about language, and I have an entire chapter dedicated to language in the book. If you haven't read it yet, um, the good thing about the book is I call it, it's a total plot book. You can plop it open at whichever chapter you want to start, and you just read that chapter. You can read from the front to the back, or you can just read chapter by chapter. Each chapter is individual lessons, so you don't have to feel you have to read it, you know, from A to Z. So you'll be able to get something from every chapter. The chapter about language is really, really important to me, and the reason why is because the way we program our subconscious mind is in three ways: language, imagination, and emotion. Those are the three ways. Again, language and imagination and emotions are the three ways how we program our subconscious mind. Now, the reason why I love language so much is because it is the most obvious, it is the fastest way of how we can change our life. You may have heard the phrase, change your thinking, change your life. And that is very true, and we also need to change our language, because language and words is what we use to express our thoughts. And every word that we use has power. Every word that we use has an energy. It has a feel to it. Every word that we use makes us feel something. Now, some of those words, they may have just a very small bit of that energy, or make us just feel very little nuances of feelings, and then there are others that cause us to feel very, very strong emotions. Most people are not consciously aware of what are the words that cause us to feel good and what are the words that cause us to feel not so good or bad or lousy, or whatever the word you want to use. So I'd like for you to try a little experiment with me, and you can, you know, do it right here, right now with me. If you're listening to this while you're driving, do not close your eyes. Keep your eyes on the road and drive safely. But if you are in the place where you can actually close your eyes, I invite you to close your eyes. And what I'd like for you to do is I just simply would like for you to repeat the following phrases after me. Okay, ready? Just allow your eyes to close if that feels comfortable. I don't see you. Nobody can see you, so it doesn't matter. And repeat after me. I have to. I need to. I really should. I've got to. I know I should. I can't. I'm not. I don't. Really feel those feelings. I have to. I need to. I should. I know I should. I really have to. I can't. I'm not. I don't. I need to. I really should. I have to. Now just notice how you're feeling. How do you feel? Do you feel heavy? Do you feel maybe anxious? Maybe there are certain physical symptoms that you're noticing. Maybe there's a tightness in your chest. Maybe there is your breathing that has changed. Maybe you're breathing faster, higher in your chest. Maybe your heart beats faster. Maybe you feel defeated. Just notice that. Those are the typical things most people tell me. Isn't that interesting? That just saying a certain amount of phrases, not even full sentences, will cause you to feel a certain way. It's pretty powerful stuff, isn't it? Now, I don't want to leave you there. So we're going to change our language a little bit and notice and compare how you feel differently after using different words and phrases. So go ahead, I invite you, if that feels good for you and safe for you, go ahead and close your eyes again. The reason why I ask you to close your eyes, only if you're not driving or operating any machinery, the reason why I'm asking you to close your eyes is because when our eyes are closed, we go internal, we can feel our feelings also better. So go ahead, allow your eyes to close and repeat after me. I choose to. I can. I will. I do. I create. It is my choice. I manifest. I can. I do. I create. Interesting. Opportunities. Possibilities. I choose to. It is my choice. I will. I do. I can. I am. It is my choice. I choose to. I can. I am. I choose to. Notice how you feel. Notice your breathing. Notice how your breathing has changed, perhaps. Notice if there's any tightness left anywhere. Perhaps the tightness that was there earlier, if there was some, is now gone. Notice how you feel overall. Do you feel heavy, or do you feel lighter and more encouraged and more upbeat? Just notice those feelings. And then just go ahead and open your eyes. I always find this exercise so fascinating because it shows so quickly and effectively how words cause us to feel something. And every word, as I said, causes us to feel something. And I invite you to start paying very, very close attention to the way you speak and to the way you use language. Now, there are the three big ones. And the three big ones I want to point out that I really, really want you to stop avoiding are I have to, I need to, and I should. I have to, I need to, and I should. And with that goes I ought to, if you use any of those variations. Now, the reason why these phrases are so harmful to you is because they presuppose to your subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is the part of the mind that is in charge of feelings and emotions. That part of the mind perceives as if it does not have any choices. The decision has been made when you use the phrases I have to, I need to, and I should. How do you feel when you perceive that you don't have a choice? It doesn't feel good, does it? So how can you change? How can you change that? What can you do differently? Number one, awareness. Become aware. Start small. You don't have to change every single word that you use, like, oh, that was a negative word. No, start small. Start with the phrases I have to, I need to, and I should. When you catch yourself using those, start replacing those phrases. Start replacing them with I choose to, I'm going to, I will, it is my choice to. Now, it may sound a little strange and may feel a little weird in the beginning. However, it will make you feel very, very different. And when you feel different, you're going to respond, behave, and act very different. You're going to be more productive. You're going to approach life very, very differently. All of that will give you a very different attitude. So I have to, I need to, I should. Now, these are phrases we use every day, every single day, many times, over and over, including me. I am still working on this. I'm perhaps more aware than I was 10 years ago, but I'm still working on them. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. So when we use those phrases, I have to, I need to, I should, replace them with I choose to. Just think of your laundry list. In the morning, you may get up and you say, oh, today I have to pick up the dry cleaning after work, or I need to eat healthy today, and I really should get in a workout, and I should go to the gym, and I really need to lose some weight, and whatever it is that you keep telling yourself on a daily basis, all of that causes stress because the subconscious mind doesn't feel it has a choice. It causes stress. Gotta emphasize that there. Stress. Not your friend, not anyone's friend. So make it a choice. Say, today I choose to eat healthy, and I'm going to the gym after work. And if I really wanted to, if it's important to me, I'll pick up my dry cleaning today. All of those presuppose that you do have a choice. You're always a choice. So language is so important because your subconscious mind takes language literal. Now there's a wonderful quote that I absolutely love, and it's by Neville, and he says, the seemingly harmless habit of talking to yourself is the most fruitful form of prayer. Let me repeat that again. The seemingly harmless habit of talking to yourself is the most fruitful form of prayer. Now, I believe it was in 2010 or 11, I'm not quite sure. Time flies, doesn't it? I went to England to finish my NLP trainer's training. And one of the things that we were challenged was, for the 2 weeks that we were in this intensive program, to eliminate all negative language. Now you can imagine that's not that easy. At least that's what I remember. So we held each other accountable. We wouldn't even say the word negative. So when we would say, this is a negative word, for example, we would use the phrase, it is a less than positive word. It is less than positive whatever. We wouldn't say, oh, it really smells badly here, or it stings. We would say, wow, it's a less than pleasant odor, isn't it? So I know that's going and taking it a little bit to the extreme, but start becoming aware of your negative language. Now, also remember what I said earlier on, the subconscious mind does not know a negative. Why is that important? Because you may be using language right now that is stopping you from being more successful, because you are suggesting something to yourself that is the opposite from what you actually want to suggest to yourself. So let me give an example, and it will make sense completely. When I work with people who choose to become non-smokers, I ask them to tell me what are the things they keep telling themselves about stopping smoking. And they will say to me, well, I want to give up cigarettes, and I'm going to quit smoking, and I really should quit smoking, and I should give up cigarettes, and I know I need to completely just stop smoking altogether, and a variety of these phrases. Now here's the thing, remember, the subconscious mind does not know negative. When I told you earlier to not think of a cookie, what did you think of? You thought of a cookie. Well, when a smoker talks about not smoking and about not buying cigarettes and giving up smoking and quitting smoking, all they hear is smoking, smoking, cigarette, cigarette, smoking. And they actually smoke more. So I asked them to eliminate the word smoking, smoker, and cigarettes completely from their vocabulary. The only word allow them to use is the word non-smoker. When you say quit smoking and giving up cigarettes, in the mind goes to smoking and cigarettes. It gives it meaning. It goes through perhaps past experiences. What does smoking, what do cigarettes mean to me, and how do they make me feel? And the mind may think, oh, they make me feel good and calm and relaxed, and then they go light up because they want a cigarette, because the subconscious mind focuses on it. Also, wanting to quit smoking is also not a good thing, because, well, it is a good thing, but the phrase is not good, because subconsciously nobody wants to be a quitter. They may want to be non-smokers, but they don't want to be quitters. So if there's something that you want to stop doing, don't talk about quitting it. Talk about stop doing it, or even better, you want to affirm what it is that you now choose to do, rather than, oh, I'm going to stop eating junk food. It's better to say, I now choose to eat healthy foods. I'm sure that makes sense. Also, if, for example, you are perhaps working on your body and getting into shape, and you say to yourself, oh, I'm going to lose some weight. Not a good thing either, because subconsciously we don't want to lose something. You want to get rid of it, you want to release it, you want to let go of it. So rather than saying, I'm going to lose it, or I'm going to lose weight, because when we lose something, the first thing we do is we go and we look for it. And when it comes to weight, don't we always find it? And maybe we find a little extra. So rather than talking about losing weight, talk about, I'm releasing weight. I'm letting go of weight. I'm getting rid of it. Because when you get rid of something, you don't want it back. So it's a very different mindset. Remember, the subconscious mind takes language literal, and it does not know the difference between reality and imagination. So become aware of how you use language in your life in a daily basis. Now, every word, as I said, makes us feel something. And maybe you already are using more positive language and perhaps affirmations. And the misconception is from many people that when we do positive affirmations, good things are going to come into our lives. It's not how it works. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but just because you say something and you affirm something does not mean it's going to happen that way. When you use positive affirmations, when you use positive language, what it does, it makes you feel good. And when you feel good, you are on a different level of vibration where you become aware of new things, where you get out of your way, where you are more positive. And when you are on a different vibrational level, when you are more positive, when you feel better about yourself, you're more productive, and you will attract different experiences simply because they are now on your horizon. You're now aware of them versus before you weren't. It's very much like when you buy a new car and all of a sudden this new car is all around and you haven't seen it before. Well, it doesn't mean it wasn't there before. You just consciously perhaps weren't aware of it. Your consciousness was not there. And now you have the car, and now you're on a different vibrational level. You're on the vibrational level of whatever your new car is. Maybe your old car was a Toyota, and now you were for years on the Toyota vibrational level, and now you bought yourself, I don't know, a BMW, and now you're on the BMW vibrational level, and you see everything through the BMW glasses. So you just open yourself up to new experiences, to see things that were always around, but you just haven't noticed them. I heard not too long ago a speaker by the name Jacob Class use a metaphor, and I thought it was just so brilliant. I want to give him credit for that. And he compared it to television channels. When we are on channel 4, all we see is what's on channel 4. If you want to see what's on channel 6, you got to change over to channel 6, because otherwise you can't see what's on channel 6. So if you are using thoughts and language, that's channel 6 thoughts and language, you're not going to get what's on channel 4. So think of language in the same way. If you want to have, and if you choose to have different experiences, you must change your thoughts, your language, your attitudes. So therefore, your experiences will change, and what you see and what you experience in this life. Your language you use to express your thoughts. Make sure you use very powerful, positive, and uplifting language. I think I want to leave it with this for today. It feels about right to stop here. This is a good time, if somebody does have any questions, to type them into the comment section. And feel free, if you want to email me, you can email me your questions. And we'll do another hangout very, very soon where we can explore some other things. I highly do recommend, if you have not yet read the language section of my book and the section about the subconscious mind and how it works, read it. It will be a good review of some of the things that we've talked about, but also other things that we have not talked about today. Read it. It will be extremely helpful. Take it one step at a time. One of the reasons why I'm stopping is because I think language is a good start, and it will take a good amount of effort and awareness and consciousness to start making the change. Make the change. Send me an email, send me a questions. If you haven't read the book, please read it. Do yourself a favor, and if you haven't gotten it, you can get it either through my website, thenlpexpert.com. If you rather get it on Kindle or through Amazon, you can do that. And if you want to watch that video again, I will post it on my website. It will be also up on YouTube. If you go to my website, it will probably be posted under the section, the book, and probably I'll make a category, Google Hangouts or book discussions or something like that. So that way you can come back, you can watch the video again, and perhaps share it with other people. Perhaps some of your friends may want to watch it, or you think they might benefit from it. For today, I'm just saying thank you so much for being here with me. I feel very honored and privileged that you do spend that time with me. I know time is very precious to all of us. Till next time, make it an amazing day, make it amazing days, because you have the power to make your life absolutely amazing by changing your thinking and changing your language. Signing off for today, this is Christian Wasinger with the NLPexpert.com. Find me on Facebook and connect with me, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Bye-bye.